fisticuffs and everything to fall out from that. Last night, both play-in games, Sixers Magic, and then, of course, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and the old Celtics, Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis balling out. That was an incredible game to watch.
It really was. Shout out to Adam Silver. You're right. These play-in games have been everything the NBA could have hoped for and then some. And for us as consumers, they've been so exhilarating, so fun. And I love to see vintage Golden State Warriors. When we just heard Steve Kerr in the intro there saying, for one night, we feel like champions, that felt like watching the Golden State Warriors in their heyday. Watching Steph, after having this injury, come back and play that way. Watching Draymond play the way he did last night, the defense, it was vintage Golden State Warriors, and it was awesome to watch.
Yeah, no question about that. Golden State, as I mentioned, down as many as 13 in the fourth. They win the game. Steph with 35 in 36 minutes. CeCe mentioned those old Celtics. Porzingis 25 and 5. 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Al Horford, the 4 threes in the fourth quarter, as you mentioned. 4 overall, 14 points. Goes to the locker room in the third quarter of this game. Banged up, comes back out and was awesome. But the storyline really was Draymond Green's defense on Kawhi Leonard and his ride-or-die teammate, been there through it all, Steph Curry, and his head coach, Steve Kerr, had this to say about the unbelievable defense from one Draymond Green in this play-in game last night.
Just a defensive savant when it comes to being in the right place at the right time, fully committing to what the job is. It's not a fun job.
Hello, it's your favorite sports thump here.
You know, like you're saying, offensively, you have your freedom. You can do whatever you want, make or miss shots, whatever. Defensively, you're at the mercy of somebody like a Kawhi Leonard who is going to make you work all night. And I think Draymond, he feeds off of those battles, those matchups.
Dre's defense, he's the best defender I've ever seen in my life. It's just insane what he does out there.
Steve Kerr saying Draymond Green is the best defender I've ever seen in my life. Just for context, Steve Kerr played on the Chicago Bulls with Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. He also played on the San Antonio Spurs with David Robinson and Tim Duncan. And you know what, CeCe Smalls? He may not be wrong. That's how great of a defensive player Draymond Green is. And I am glad. You're going to be surprised with this take today, one Chris Canty specifically. I want to praise defense today. Not offense, not quarterbacks, nothing. I'd like to sit here and say it's about time in basketball that we equate defense with offense, and that the defensive prowess of one Draymond Green has that kind of impact on a basketball game.
It's crazy that we're praising defense in a game where 247 points were scored.
Okay. It's a new world that we're living in the NBA.
But I will say this. Draymond Green, the back-to-back steals in the final minute of the fourth quarter were outstanding. Off the inbounds pass, that was crazy. But then he takes it up a notch, ripping Kawhi Leonard on the way up the floor. Leads to 2 Steph Curry field goals. He was awesome. And not just defending, but also playing point forward and facilitating on the offensive end as well. But I don't think we can dismiss any of the efforts from all of the guys that we just mentioned, right? Because that win doesn't happen if Steph Curry doesn't drop 35 points. It doesn't happen if Kristaps Porzingis doesn't have a turn back the clock type of performance. And it doesn't happen without the big shots that Al Horford made in the fourth quarter. There was a stretch in the middle of the fourth quarter where Al Horford hit 3 straight threes. And then, of course, he hits the go-ahead shot with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, it was phenomenal all the way around. And to me, that is an exhibition of DNA, championship DNA. The Golden State Warriors, their ethos, their essence is what won that game last night against the Clippers. It's crazy to think that they had not won in that building in the Intuit Dome until last night. And so for them to be able to have that performance when they're up against it, a true winner-go-home scenario, you just got to tip your cap to them. Now, can they follow that up? Can they do it again against the Suns? Remains to be seen. But that was a phenomenal performance last night. And if you can get that version of Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, and Draymond Green, then this Warriors team is going to be scary in the first round of the playoffs.
All fair. Is Draymond the greatest defender of all time?
Well, I'll tell you what I thought watching this last night. This is why he's worth it. Because remember all the times we've talked about Draymond's behavior, all the times that there has been discipline and consequences, and we wondered how long can the Golden State Warriors continue to do this? Are they allowing it? Is Steph fed up with it? Remember all of the analyzing that we did about Draymond and his time with Golden State? This is why he's worth it. This is it. Watching him last night, the defense that he displayed, what he does, allowing Steph to do his thing. This is why Draymond is so excellent, and why with all the other stuff, when we always opine about is it worth it, this last night is exactly why it's worth it. And yeah, he might be the best defender that Steve Kerr's ever seen because he does it consistently. He's so awesome. Listen, I don't want to go back and look at all the numbers and compare it because a lot of times we just live in the immediacy of this. But the fact that he's even in that conversation and that you could make a really great argument for it tells you all you need to know.
He's definitively in the conversation. And Steve Kerr said that I've ever seen, meaning Bill Russell's off the table for this because Steve Kerr is still relatively young where he's not watching Bill Russell in his prime. And Bill Russell is one of the greatest defenders to ever live, if not the greatest defender to ever live. And by the way, physically, at the center position was built like Tracy McGrady. He was like 6'8", 6'9", 220. He wasn't a big guy relative to today's day and age. And he was still dominating inside.
Okay, Will, all kinds of problems.
And Wilt was a monster physically.
Yeah.
So Bill Russell is obviously. But Draymond Green is able to impact and dictate a game defensively in a way that great offensive players are offensively. And so if you want to say that Dennis Rodman's better, go ahead, because Dennis Rodman's unbelievable. Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan.
And Dennis Rodman did it at multiple places.
Places.
San Antonio. He did it with the Bad Boy Pistons. He did it with the Chicago Bulls.
No question.
Listen, Draymond Green is absolutely in the conversation for one of the best defensive players ever. But calling him definitively the best defensive player ever, I ain't going to that place. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
But his defense and his winning will get him in the Hall of Fame. And
no question.
But Cece, you and I are in agreement on this. A lot of people look at the Basketball Hall of Fame and say, oh, it's cheap. Look at this guy. That guy gets in, whatever it is. This is not a cheap Hall of Fame induction. This is a guy that definitively deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because guess what? Defense is important in basketball, and he's one of the greatest defenders to ever live. And he deserves to walk into the Hall of Fame for moments like that last night. And Kawhi Leonard is not a good player. Kawhi Leonard is a great player. And Draymond Green was able to lock him up last night in a way that is abnormal for someone that great. And you talk about championship DNA, that man, Kawhi Leonard, has that. He has that. Now, the other part of this is what's next for the Clippers, okay? By the way, well, they may be, I understand the Clippers are not the Lakers, breaking news. The Clippers are not the Dallas Cowboys, breaking news. But this offseason in the NBA, they may be the most interesting team. Why? They don't have their draft pick. Who gets it? Oklahoma City.
And it can't be any worse than the 12th overall selection.
Which means you're going to add greatness to Oklahoma City, and they're already great.
Yeah, now, and guess what? Oklahoma City used the 12th overall pick once upon a time to draft Jalen Williams.
How'd that work out?
So Sam Presti knows what to do with a
40
lottery.
points in the NBA
he knows
Finals.
what the hell to do with a lottery pick.
So
great job, LA Clippers. Way to keep the Thunder dynasty rolling.
And the Thunder have that pick by way of the Paul George trade, which is a requirement to get Kawhi. Now, I'm glad you brought Kawhi up. Thanks. There's a whole investigation going on with Kawhi. Did he receive funds to circumvent the salary cap? Post-game, Kawhi Leonard was asked about when was the last time you thought about that scandal that was going on.
I'm not sure. I never thought about it too much other than questions asked. So you have to ask the NBA, not me. I'm not the one doing the investigation.
How important is it for you to have some kind of resolution to that?
I think that we're going to be in the clear, like I told you before. So I'm not stressing it.
All right, I know I'm mincing words here. Saying we're going to be in the clear is a lot different than saying I'm innocent, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to be in they're not going to find what we really. No, we're in the clear. We're in, Nuno, you are our shady insider. Nuno, is saying we're in the clear innocence, or they ain't going to find what they really need to find?
Yeah, they're not finding the evidence. We're good. That's what he's telling you.
Smalls, you took it the same way because I heard you laughing at that. We're in the clear line with Kawhi?
I didn't think about it until you said it, but
okay.
then once you said it, I'm like, wait, yeah, if I say we're in the clear, that means I got away with it. Not that I didn't do it.
And let's be clear. It's not like he's hurting people. It would be salary cap circumvention for a fake endorsement deal. People have done a lot worse in life, but it is technically illegal within the sport. You're shaking your head and laughing. Why, CC?
Because it's criminal that he's getting all of this money based on his salary, but also on top with this endorsement deal. And Steve Ballmer ain't getting what he's supposed to get out of the deal, which is contention for a title.
This is his last game with Clippers. Choice or their choice?
I'm sure they would love it to be. I don't think it will, but I'm sure they would love it to be. How has the Kawhi Leonard deal benefited the LA Clippers outside of hype? How? They just haven't. It's been I can't even say it's a disappointment because it's not strong. I don't want to characterize it as a disaster or a failure, but essentially what you gave up in order to get Kawhi Leonard, giving up a guy that's knocking on winning consecutive MVPs and that's leading his team on what they believe to be another championship run in SGA, the draft capital that you've given up, the salary cap space that you've given up, the opportunity cost associated with tying yourself to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George for the majority of this past decade. What has it gotten you? Not a damn thing. It is disaster. It's not a disaster, but it feels like a disaster when you consider what Steve Ballmer invested and what they got in return.
Just as a point of note, the Clippers pick, as we mentioned, does go to the Thunder. They technically would get the Pacers pick if the Pacers pick falls between 5 and 9. If it doesn't, the LA Clippers are worrying about planting trees this offseason because that's the fake endorsement deal that Kawhi had. Could be a disaster. But yes.
This is crazy.
You're looking at the trade is what my bet is.
I'm not even just looking at the trade. I'm just looking. They've won 3 playoff series?
With Kawhi?
Yeah. Three playoff series?
It hasn't worked.
That's what we got?
He's an awesome player.
That's what we got?
It has not worked.
That's what we got for everything that you've invested in Kawhi? That's what we got?
And I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, you would know better than I would on this. You lived out there for a minute.
Yeah.
I think they still get the arena without Kawhi and Paul George. It's not like the Bucks thing where like Giannis brought them winning and buzz. They get the Deer District.
I mean, Steve Ballmer is one of the richest owners.
Yeah, he could have us playing. Yeah, I'm just saying some
Yeah.
successful teams trigger downtown development, arenas. The Warriors are not getting that arena without Steph Curry. Without all the money coming in there. Obviously, that's not the case with the Clippers. Yes, absolute disaster.
That is crazy. That is crazy to me. That's crazy.
All right, coming up.
Guess those trees aren't bearing fruit.
Should have let me say that. Forget it. You know what? I thought that was madness. We'll have Michelle's madness coming up next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented